Welcome to Worms and Warriors, and welcome to Grand Tactician The Civil War. It's been a little while since this campaign has had anything happening to it, mostly because it's been Christmas and New Year and I've taken a little bit of time off from the computer. It's a lot of screen time, and I do like to take a couple of weeks off over the Christmas and New Year period just to give my eyes a rest and so on. We're back at it. We're back to the normal flow of things, and we're back into this war. I did put a post up asking if you guys wanted a new campaign or if you wanted this one continue, because I wasn't sure if people maybe had lost interest in this one, just with it having been a little while since we did the last episode. So, without further waffle, here are the results of the survey. And it looks like we're going to carry on. It was pretty close, but we're carrying on, and I'm fine with that. I literally just wanted to touch base and see what you guys thought about it. So yeah, it's pretty cool that we're carrying on. So anyway, we're halfway through June 1862. The campaign hasn't been going all that long. There's been a lot of action, and there's a lot to be catching up on. So we're going to have a quick run through with the forces just to make sure we reacquaint ourselves with everything. So this episode might be a little longer. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens in the episode. But we'll have a little run through the units, the different armies, and I'll show you a few of the things that I've done. So I've changed a few things, and we'll get into that in a moment. Let's firstly, just before I get started, I'll just say this video's chaptered. So if you don't want to watch this recap, just skip forward to where you want to go to. Anyway, so let's have a look at the overall strategy. National morale, we are quite a way ahead, but 87 to 73, still, it's not amazing, but it's good. National support, fairly even here, 88 to 89. Morale of armies, now we are quite a way ahead here, 77 there, morale is 66, but they have taken a few defeats. They've taken a few defeats recently, so that's obviously playing into this. Loyal states, 12 to 26. It's obviously, we're always going to have fewer states loyal to us. Men fielded. Now, this is quite an important one, of course. They're coming up on 215,000 men in the field. We've got 181,000. So the numbers are starting to tell. And just as a little aside here, we've got nobody really in the recruitment pool. We've got like 10,000 men available or something like that. But not enough really to scrape any units together at all. So that's that. Navy tonnage, we're miles behind. We're always going to be miles behind. Military experience, pretty close. 35 for the Union, 40 for us. Battles won, they've won 31, we've won 27, so we are lagging a little. But we are playing this in the hardest difficulty as well. It's a tough run through this 62 stars. Definitely, I know I've said it before, but it's definitely the hardest run I've ever played on this game. Okay, so casualties, 53,600 for us, 77,300 for them. So I mean, quite a lot more, but I mean, you know, they've got way more troops to draw on for replacements. European relations, 15, and you might as well be 0 at this point, if we're being honest. We're never gonna get European intervention at this rate. Trade warfare, you know, it's slanting in our favour, but yeah, it doesn't really. It's fine. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what this is going to do. Economy, pretty close actually. I'm surprised it's that close. 24.9 for them, 21.4 for us, and overall it's saying evenly matched. Okay. Next thing we're going to look at the front lines here. It's where you'd think they would be, pretty much. Split through the centre of Tennessee. Most of Western Virginia is in Union hands. It is actually, I think it's actually the state of West Virginia. Yeah, it is. Obviously, historically, this isn't until 63, but for some reason when this started, they already had West Virginia as a state. And we started in 62, so who knows. Now, in the West, we have made a bit of headway. We've won a nice victory over here and pushed the Union back, but they're out here in the Indian Territory, which is causing us some hassle. Again, we'll go through this once we look at the forces. Tennessee, we've won a couple of nice victories, but we did suffer a terrible defeat down here on the Shiloh battlefield at the very start of the campaign, and that was a problem. But we are starting to resolve that. So we did win a nice fight just here in the last episode. This was a big fight, but we lost 5,000 men. The Union lost somewhere between 9 and 10,000. But, you know, again, like I said before, we can't really replace those guys. We've got the army here of East Tennessee. They haven't done much. We're kind of just holding the Knoxville area. And then Virginia is fairly secure. We have pushed the Union out of Southern Virginia entirely, which is nice, of course. Northern Virginia is the battlefield where you would expect it to be. Okay, so that's that. Let's have a quick look at the forces. We're going to start from the west and work our way across. So we've got in the west, in Arkansas, we raised two little armies. Well, Lovell's command came up from New Orleans. This was the New Orleans defensive force. So he's come up here, he got his arse whooped, and we formed a new army, the Army of Arkansas under Beauregard, which is out here in the Indian Territory, taking on the Army of the West again. They're kind of engaged in some sort of fort action here. I'm not really sure why that is. I can't remember that we were in that, but let's see what happens with that. The army's fine. It's almost 14,000 men, 28 guns. Beauregard, very experienced. He's doing a good job here, but they are low on food. We'll just have to leave it be at that. Then we've got, obviously, the Fort Smith garrison. It's just some guns, really, I think, if I remember right. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's just... We've got Scurry recruiting in there, and Branch with some artillery. So this has got 23 guns in there, so I don't know. Maybe it can hold something back, but probably can't. Then, like we say, Lovell's command here, along with the Arkansas Squadron. And this is one of the changes in the new update, actually, because I should mention we've updated to 1.11. I've done a whole video on that, so if you check it out on the channel if you want to watch it, it's a bit more in depth. So this guy, Flag Officer John Mitchell, he can command up to 45 ships. He's currently got 2, so this is a new thing. So let's have a quick look at the tooltip here. This commander may command a maximum of 45 ships. Administration skills increase the number of ships commanded by 20. So this fella, basic ship limitations per rank, lieutenant, 1, commander 5, captain 10, flag officer 25. So he can command an extra 20 because he's got good administration skill. Rousseau here, he can command up to 40 ships. He's only got 1. He's a flag officer as well. Anyway, so I'm not going to go through all the fleets just now. But anyway, so Lovell's command is here. They're recruiting some troops in. They're going to be our garrison around Little Rock. Just we don't really know what the Union's doing. This is another new little graphic here as well. So the Union armies are kind of grayed out with question marks. As you can see, they're kind of all over the map. We've got some up here, down here, up here. And is it Ohio? Yeah, Kentucky. That is actually, sorry. Ohio's further up, of course. Yeah, so yeah, we can see that. This is a new thing. Okay, so let's keep working our way across. We were at Little Rock. We're going to go across here to Grenada, Mississippi District under Pillows, just a recruiting force, so we're recruiting Brigade of Infantry into those guys. What we've got here, the 2nd Corps. This is getting into the more important section here. So this is the Army of Tennessee. This is where we've been fighting a lot. We've taken a little bit of a gamble and pushed our main force up towards Nashville. I'm saying a bit of a gamble because it leaves us open to all these guys up here. So we've got the Army of the Gulf, 4,900 men. Department of the Mississippi, this is the overall department command. So 66,000 men are around, somewhere around here. Army of Tennessee there with 27,000 men. Army of the Southwest, a small army. But, I mean, there's substantial forces here. And we haven't really got much on the river. We've got the fleet here, small, against their huge fleet. So it's going to cause us some problems. We've got a tiny garrison at Fort Pillow. And then we've got this here, the 2nd Corps, 18,500 men under Hardee. And they're going to be here defending this section of the map, while the rest of the Army of Tennessee is pushing up. We've got the 1st Corps and Van Dorn's Corps here, the 3rd Corps. So this is the bulk of the force under Johnston. Also got the Cavalry Corps under Field, which is also kind of pushing its way up here. So we're trying to take Nashville. We've beaten the enemy army of the Ohio here under Grant and Pope. We've given them a real kicking. And the aim is to take this fort and push up to take Nashville. It's going to surely cause a reaction from these boys. The Union boys up here around Cairo. Okay, and then like I said, we do have Kirby Smith. This is the Army of East Tennessee, which hasn't done a lot. You can see there's a couple of little squares, little crosses here where we've had fights with the Union who've pushed down, but we haven't really moved up much. There's only 15,000 of them. There's 3 armies knocking around somewhere here in eastern Kentucky. Then into Virginia. So this is where we've made the biggest changes in Virginia. I've reorganized the Army of Northern Virginia. Basically, we were in 6 corps, or 6 corps. Do you say corps or corps? I say corps. Anyway, so we've got Lee. He's got 75,000 men, and I've reorganized these into 3 proper corps. And the Reserve Corps. Okay, so we're going to have D.H. Hill here. He's going to have 22,000 men. You can see some of the units are still moving in. And for some reason, I can't get rid of this guy, Drayton. He was the division commander, but I can't get rid of him. It's just grayed out, so he's just here transferring in. Maybe when he's there, I can get rid of him. We'll see. So anyway, this is Hill's Corps, 22,800 men. That's the 1st Corps. Then we've got Longstreet with the 2nd Corps, 17,500. And then we've got Jackson here, who's got the 3rd Corps. That was the Army of the Valley District or something like that. But as you can see, we've got a division of troops transferring in there. 16,800 men. And then the Reserve, 16,000 men under Gustavus Smith. So they're all kind of the same size, except for the 1st Corps, which is slightly bigger. I think this works better than having 6 small corps dotted around the map. And it's freed up Magruder and Hugie, along with a couple of other division commanders who are now available to redeploy. I can't see them for some reason, but they are definitely around. Forrest was wounded. Well, I guess they just haven't gone back into the pool just yet. Well, it's very strange because am I missing something here? Is something clicked? It could be... cavalry's clicked. Okay, that's why. That's better. So we've got Joe Johnston spare. He's going to get an army command somewhere, surely. We've got Samuel Cooper, who's also decent. Paul, who sucks in real life, but I mean, in game, he's fine. Loring's wounded. Then we've got Magruder, looking good. He's going to get a command somewhere. And Hughie, he's done a really nice job, actually, commanding his corps, but he was just like a victim of circumstance, really, that he was fired. So you've got a few major generals kicking around the place who will be reassignable, and it's handy to have those guys spare. Joe Johnson, he does need a command somewhere. I'm not sure who or where I'm going to put him yet, but that's pretty much it. So the dispositions here in the east. The first corps is going to move up towards Charlottesville. I want them guarding the western kind of approach to Richmond. See what these armies do. We have driven them out of here. We fought a couple of battles down here, and D.H. Hill managed to push them out. So they're around somewhere. It's a substantial force up there. At the north end of the valley, we've got the Department of Southwestern Virginia. It's only 4,500 men. And we've also got Stonewall Jackson here, who is pushing on somewhere. I gave these orders last time. I think he's just pushing north. We're trying to push away these guys from Winchester. And we'd like to take the infrastructure of Winchester. We've got some important things here. We've got a factory, which we don't have much of. There's a telegraph station, and there's a depot up here. I mean, if we can capture that would be great, but I'm not holding my breath on that front. Over here, there's some sort of siege going on as well. I don't really know. I don't really know what's going on since it's been a long time since we played. Gustavus Smith is pushing up here, so let's see what happens with the siege at Fort Lyon. And last but not least, almost last but not least, we've got the Richmond Department just recruiting in, and then down here, we've got Braxton Bragg, who is undertaking the siege at New Bern. He's got 7,300 men. This is just newly raised force. If they can take this, excellent. If not, then, you know, that's just that. Quick last thing to look at here before we get started with playing, and that is our weapons situation. Again, weapons are... It's terrible. We've got no weapons. We've got nothing. We've got a few on order, cavalry weapons here, but it's not much. They're all in the mid-hundreds here, like less than 1,000 for everything. 921 for these Colt revolving rifle. Maybe might come in handy for something. Guns, again, hardly anything. As you can see, there's nothing really. Not enough to equip anything. Got some Napoleons and a few field guns, but, you know, what am I going to do with those? Springfield rifles, we have muskets we haven't even got, so it's looking very poor. So really, and our money's terrible as well. We're on BBB plus, and we've got nothing in terms of financial resources. So any weapons for now, we're going to have to capture on the battlefield, basically. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. And I think that's probably a decent place to get started here. I think I've talked enough. Yeah, okay. So June 14th, let's get started. The first course, preparing siege. My men approach Fort Cruz. I am deploying and preparing field works. So I'm pretty that's here. Because I remember the last battle was the battle at Fort Cruz. This is where we defeated the Union. We've got the cavalry corps moving up on the field. 5,000 men. They've got a bit of scouting going on for us. I mean, hopefully this siege should be nice and quick. We've got this battle at Fort Lyon. Okay, hang on. I'm just going to pause this a moment. Battle at Fort Lyon. That's involving the 4th Corps and Longstreet's Corps, but why on earth is the Reserve Corps not involved in that? I'm going to move these boys up. If they get into range, we'll maybe take us to a field battle, and that could be a nice way to fight this episode. Play this episode. Army of Arkansas preparing a siege. Okay, yeah, so these guys are pulling back from the battle. So everything happened here so quickly, so all this is going on at the same time. So we're now besieging Fort Gibson, which has a garrison of 60, so I mean, surely that's got to be done quickly. Fort Cruz, battle at Fort Lyon. Right, so the Reserve Corps still hasn't joined into this fight, and it doesn't make any sense at all. They still haven't. I mean, why not? mean, the last thing I want is for this to be an auto battle, but I don't really want to take it to a fight when it's like this, when we're not going to have our reinforcements joining us. Oh, so the Union are going to recruit black troops, so we're going to be even more outnumbered. Glorious victory at Fort Cruz. Okay, so that was always going to happen. This was over in Tennessee. Excellent. Now we're marching on Nashville, which is exactly what we want. We've got movement here. We've got the Army of Tennessee moving up towards Louisville. Louisville? St. Louis even. We've still got this going on over here. The Army of the West got no supply. We are still besieging this place. There's 49 men in there. Come on, Beauregard. Get that taken care of. Alright, so this is our troops are there now. 28,000 of those guys. It's saying Gustavus Smith in command. I don't really see how that can be. But I'll tell you what. Let's take this to the fight. Let's take it to the field. And let's play out this battle. If we press assault, is that what happens? Yes, it is. Okay, great. We are facing the 4th Corps under the command of Erasmus D. Keyes with 18,000 men, 31 guns. Let's see what the crack is here. We're going to attack the enemy. We are on the Bull Run battlefield, Manassas. Okay, that's fine by us. Is this the only objective? Oak Forest. Okay, then. Alrighty. I'm just going to go with this. We're just deployed like this. We're going to pop ourselves on the march any moment here. Right, so I'm going to get started straight away. It's 14:50 p.m. So, I mean, I'm sure the fight will happen in the next day. I'm going to move our guys across, and we'll cut back in when something happens. Alright then, so we've advanced over here with our cavalry scouts. We've spotted the enemy. They're kind of lined up there, exactly where I would think they are, just around the objective. On a nice hill for them. Alright, that's something to work with. So we're going to swing a division out onto their left flank, and we'll go from there. But our guys are still getting in position, so it's taking a little while. We'll cut back in soon. It's 1700 almost. So we're coming up on 1830. Our guys are moving into position. We've got Richard Anderson who's going to pull out onto their flank, and he's going to be our smash basically. So we're going to try and hold them in place, and then see if we can bring the division around and smash them in the flank. In the centre, we've got A.P. Hill who's going to work his way up here, along with McLaws who's moving his division up as well. It's taking a little while. Terrain's a bit grim. At least there's some roads. On the left-hand side, we've got Gustavus Smith moving his reserve corps into position on their right flank. Winder's guns are moving up as well. Not sure how effective they're going to be with the terrain, but we'll find out. Longstreet, I would not like you there. You should stay with your main portion of the army. Richard Anderson is just out here on the right, like I say, with 5,000 men. We're coming up towards dusk. It's 10 past 7 p.m. We've got the Fredericksburg Home Guard there, the Chosen Men, and someone else. Can't quite click on them. Wilcox, okay. So we're disrupted. I mean, we're going to wait till the next day to fight anyway. Yeah, as you can see, we can't get any shot at all. Doesn't help that we're on the downward slope here. It's the end of the day. That's great. That's fine. Resupplying our troops. It's 5 a.m. Let's redeploy. So we're set up for day 2, and it's looking like this. I'm just going to move Lee up a little. We've got our main sort of line here, which is McLaws and Hill's division. That's AP Hill. On the right, Anderson's ready for his attack. I mean, we'll see what they do. They're bound to redeploy a little, but we'll see what's what. We've got our boys over here on the left flank, so I'm keeping Toombs in reserve. We've got Grimes' guns up here. We can't really get much of a shot on at all. Pendleton's guns are back here. I guess it's going to be an infantry slog, which, that's fine. Let's get started. Let's see how what happens here. Oh, yeah, okay, so that's not good. That's not good at all. Well, actually, it's not too bad, but it's not what I expected. Okay, then. So our flank attack is going to roll around anyway. McLaws, I'm going to see if we can blam him straight into there with his division. We're going to swing Hill around like that. Let's get these scouts in from the cavalry. We no longer need those. Anderson's division, let's get them moving up and around. And this is going to be tough, yeah, because of the way they're dug in. We're going to get Dowling moving this way. Hopefully they can come up around behind them. Let's see what happens here. I hope these guys aren't in range of there, but I suspect they might be if these are rifle-armed troops. So let's move. We'll move Toombs up. Let's get started. We've got Winder with his guns as well. I'm going to move them up a little. See if we can give any sort of support and fire. I doubt it. This is something new, the little line here. I think it's just to show there's defenses there, maybe. The Queen's Own Volunteers, Port Royal Corsairs, Gardeners Brigade, Royal Black Watch. So lots of viewer units in here. First CS Infantry Brigade, another viewer unit. Sons of Columbia, another one. Jenkins, he's not. We've got some long-range skirmishers here, so we're going to get them out. Everything taking a while. Taking some losses over here. Skirmishers are engaged. Trying to extricate these guns, pull them back a little bit. Alrighty, let's push these boys in. We're already firing with Kershaw's Port Royal boys, with the Mississippi Rifles. Queen's Own Volunteers are in combat here, just on the flank of the 1st Brigade. They only have 1,000 men, so they've seen a lot of action, these guys. So this artillery battery's took 95 casualties and they're still just fighting them. Whereas our boys lost 25 and they're running like chickens. Right, there we are. Anyway, that's good. Okay, so now these boys have turned. Let's move up with Evander Law's brigade. Push yourself up, sir. Hit these guys in the flank. Sure what's going on with this range here. Let's press it on. Come on, boys. Nice. It's not even 6 AM yet and the battlefield is in full swing. Let's woof it up. And we're now going to push up on their right flank. Hopefully that's going to push them away. Need Gardner to hold a little longer. You've only lost 200 men. Come on, man. Hold in place. Don't mess this whole system up. The enemy's retreating. They've had enough. Okay. Excellent. It would be awesome if we could capture some good equipment here because we really need it. So I think this is a fairly well executed attack, certainly for me. I mean, it doesn't always go as smoothly as this. I know it didn't maybe seem that smooth anyway, but very smooth attack for me. Not sure where these guys are going, but you know. Let's keep up the pressure. Impressed with Dowling and his men. He did a nice job here on this flank, pushing in and taking no shit, basically. Georgia frontiersmen pushing up there. Just minor victory. It doesn't feel like minor victory. It feels like a major victory. Okay, let's just speed this up while we're mopping up the enemy. These guys look like they've escaped. Ended in a minor victory. We lost 900 men. They lost 2,600, so pretty poor losses for them, actually. But we had 32,000 in the field. He only had 18,000. That went pretty well. The Battle of Fort Lyon. So that was a nice little victory. A good way to kick this campaign back into gear. So we lost 901 men, 146 killed, 124 missing, the rest were wounded. So that's not a bad bill, to be honest, a butcher's bill. What about the enemy? 2,584, 334 killed, 72 captured. The morale's stable. So the rest of them are wounded, but that's alright. We captured 1,200 rifles and 1,700 guns. 70 prisoners have been taken to our POW camps. Okay, so that was pretty cool. We'll have a quick look at our weapons. See if we captured anything good there. Those 1,200 rifles. I doubt it. Nah. Bunch of Springfield rifles, but the rest must have been just dotted around. A couple of Lawrences, but not enough again to equip anybody. In terms of guns, I've got some 10-pounder Parrots. Always welcome. I think that's about it. £10 Parrots and a handful of Napoleons. Alright, well, that's okay. But the victory is the main thing, of course. We're going to play on a little bit. I don't think I've got time to fight another battle today, but maybe I have. We'll see how it goes. Secretary Robinson impeached. Okay. So the Fort Lyon garrison is still holding out with 38 men, but it's broken. I'm just going to auto-resolve the assault, and hopefully that'll just sort itself out. Oh, something I never touched on, actually. Policies, we're working on government funding 2, so that's 32 days away. Let's just wait and see if any of these actions resolve themselves. We've got a bunch of sieges on the go. And actually, something else I quickly wanted to look at. We had some guys blocking the trade nodes down here. I'm just going to pause a second so we can take a look at this. Apparently this is something new here. Blocked 15%. I thought it's supposed to say something about the effect of the blockade on here, but I don't know, I'm not seeing it. Not sure, but this is a really experienced fleet here under Poindexter. They've got their elite battle flag, Sea Raider 3, Blockading Squadron 1, and Amphibious Attack 1. Alright, well, anyway, so they're blockading that. Our main fleet is still down here in New Orleans, kind of our only real defense down here, and they're staying there for now, depending on what the Union does. Okay, I'm going to move time on, not too fast, just to see what happens here. Army of Tennessee still moving up here towards St. Louis, I think, or towards the west anyway. We're building the depot over here because we've got no depots at all in the western section of Tennessee. Field at destination, that's at Nashville, okay. So we're taking Nashville. Glorious victory at Fort Lyon. Kirk surrenders. Okay, that's great. Confederate armies in Stockwell. Yay. We haven't taken Nashville yet. We also haven't taken this depot, which I'm a bit surprised at and a bit annoyed at. Maybe it's because he's on scouting. I'm not sure. I want to move him on. I want to take this depot, of course, because we need some supplies. Fort Cruz has been taken and it's got a little tiny garrison in it. We are in the process of retaking Nashville. It would be great if we can recapture Nashville. That would be, but I mean, I suspect everyone's going to pile on them then. Mississippi District, we've got those guys in there, but I'm just going to leave them there for now. The new guys. If we can also take New Bern, that would be very, very, very favourable. Our national morale's up to 94 now. 73 for them. Much the same for the rest of it. Just letting some time whiz by here. Slavery prohibited in the territories. Okay. We have got some movement. The Coast Division is up here. 11,000 men. The 3rd Corps as well. 19,000 men. Their troops are massed around Washington. So obviously, I mean, they don't want to lose Washington, which is understandable. Our units here still getting into position with this reshuffle. Oh no, Blanchard's missing. I've sent him on furlough to see if he can top up his men. He was on 600 or something. He's on 1,100, so he's picking some men up. That's fine. If we can help it, we'll not seek another pitched battle, but if they come at us, we'll come at them. Oh, and they have come at us. It's McClellan with the Coast Division, the Army of Washington, and the Army of the Potomac. That's interesting. I'm surprised that they're willing to take us on here. 32,000 of our men. We are lacking a bit in cavalry. I'm recruiting a cavalry brigade into this the Richmond department, which is going to join Jeb Stuart, but it's taking a little while. Yeah, so this is another interesting looking battle. So they've got about 26,000 men here with 89 guns. We've got 34,000 with 88 guns. He's come at us. He doesn't want us to take Washington. That's completely understandable. And we will fight him here. And we will fight him here in the next episode. I do hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of it. If you've got any ideas for the campaign, do put them on. If you want to come chat in Discord, I'll put a link to the Discord server in the pinned comment at the top, which will also have a link to the series. So if you're new here, obviously go and check out the series. See what you've missed. This is episode 13 of this series. And if you do like this sort of content, then why not subscribe to the channel? I welcome everybody here. We've got a really friendly little gang going. I like to chat with you guys in the comments, and I appreciate anybody who watches us playing these games. So have a good day. I'll catch you later. Ta-ra for now.